In the last section of the course, I will provide some guidelines on how you can transition from the old ISMS to the new ISMS, in addition to providing you with some toolkits. So how to get there if you don't have ISMS? Well, there are a couple of milestones. You need first to build your ISMS, which is a set of documentation. Then you need to make sure to reflect this documentation to your operating environment. For example, you created a password policy, you need to make sure you implemented and enforced the password policy. You highlighted the roles and responsibilities in your ISMS policy or manual. You need to make sure that certain people have been assigned these roles and responsibilities. This is a critical phase in where you need to spend some time in developing your policies, procedures, and enforcing them to your environment. Once you're ready, you need to conduct stage 1, in where an external assessor will come visit you and advise you whether to go to stage 2 for a real audit. Once you go for stage 2, the auditors might come on site and assess your ISMS implementation. The audit might result in some NCs, minor or major, in addition to some observations. If you have major NC or a minor NC, you will be given a grace period before implementing the fixes. And once you implement the fixes, you will be certified. It's somehow a long process, so this is why I call it the ISMS journey. Once you're certified, the journey doesn't stop here. You need to make sure you're maintaining and regularly improving your ISMS, taking into consideration all the improvements to the standard, introduction of regulations, etc. If your organization is currently certified to ISO 2013 and you are looking to transition to the new updated standard, here are some of the steps you can follow. You need to familiarize yourself with the changes in the new version of the standard. ISO 2022 contains some significant changes compared to the 2013. It is important to understand these changes and how they may impact your organization. You can find more information about the changes in the new standard that you can download from iso.org. The second step you need to take is to review your current ISMS. You need to take some time to review your organization's current ISMS to see how it aligns with the requirements of the updated version. Identify any areas where your ISMS may need to be updated or strengthened in order to meet the new requirements of the standard. The third step you need to take is to conduct a gap analysis, which is a process of comparing your current ISMS against the requirements of the new standard to identify any gaps or areas of non-compliance. This will help you understand the extent of the changes that need to be made to your ISMS in order to meet the new standard. Update your documentation. Once you have identified the changes that need to be made to your ISMS, you will need to update your documentation to reflect these changes. This may include updating your ISMS manual. It's not necessary to create an ISMS manual, it's not a requirement, but usually companies club all of these policies into one document and they call it ISMS manual. You also need to update your policies, procedures, and any other relevant documentation. Now you need to review and test. So before you can be recertified on the new standard, you will need to conduct a review of your updated ISMS to ensure that it meets the requirements of the new standard. This may involve conducting internal audits or assessments, as well as undergoing an external audit by a certification body. Now the most important phase is the certification. Once you have completed the review and testing process, you can apply for a recertification to the new standard. This will typically involve submitting your updated ISMS documentation and undergoing an external audit by a certification body. If your ISMS meets the requirements of the new standard, you will be recertified to ISO 27001 2022. Transitioning from 2013 to 2022 involves reviewing, updating, conducting gap analysis, doing testing procedures, etc. So it is important to be thorough and systematic in this process to ensure that your ISMS meets the new requirements and guidelines. Here is an example of some of the documents that you need to update. You need to update your risk policy, the risk methodology, the assessment, the treatment plan. You also need to review and update your statement of applicability. I have attached the updated SOA in the references of the course. However, the controls have changed from 114 to 93 and the format of the old SOA is not applicable anymore. If you have an ISMS manual, you also need to review that, in addition to any other policy and procedure, such as management reviews, ISMS communication plan, etc. There is a specific document that can be helpful while you are implementing your ISMS called Effectiveness Matrix. I have also attached a sample of this document. So in this document, you'll be able to measure some ISMS processes such as your backups, your review of policies and procedures, your change management, your restoration test, the incident, etc. It's a good document to keep track of your KPIs and make sure that your ISMS is on the right track.